Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tasha, and today we're going to do a vlog, but specifically we're going to be talking about my temperature cardigan for the month of March. So it is actually Monday, March 30th, so we're almost at the end of March, and usually I dedicate the last week of the month to catch up on my temperature cardigan because I am not constantly working on this, just because it is pretty quick to catch up to, or catch up with, I guess. So if you're new here, I'm doing a temperature cardigan for the year of 2026, where I take the high temperatures of the place that I live and I associate them with certain colors, and then I do a row each for each day for the high temperature. And I'm going to be using these sunburst granny squares to do it. So I have a whole plan on what that looks like. Video link down below of my plan. I do say in that video that I'm using the average temperatures. I have since changed that and I'm now using the high temperatures, so dismiss that, but that has all my colors and my plan and everything like that. So if you're interested in that, you'll find the link down below. So far, this is the squares for the month of March, so I figured I would just kind of go over them really quick with you. They're in order, and I need to make sure that I keep them in order because I haven't put them together yet. So I have a thing on my iPad right here where I take a picture of it and then I keep them in order, but I haven't done that with these squares yet. So I need to do that after I am done here. But here are the squares, and I'll kind of show them to you pretty quickly. This is essentially, there might be some other squares for March, but this is essentially what we've got for March. So we've got this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So these last two squares that we made, it got really cold. So, and I will put down below what my temperature colors are. I made myself like a little chart with each of the colors on it, but it got wet, so I can't show that to you. But if I have a picture somewhere, I'll post it somewhere. Or I will take a picture of all my colors and show you what they look like. But essentially, the purpley color, so like I've got some blues and some greens that are colder. So the blue is cold, green is a little bit warmer but still cold, and then I've got purples, which are even warmer than the greens, and then I've got these pinks for the warmest colors. So I so far have not used my hottest color, but I have used my second hottest color. So if you look at these two, this was like a cold front, so like these purples and stuff, it was pretty warm. And then we got to this square, which this week specifically was really cold in comparison to the last couple weeks. And then this one was really warm, so this is the first time I've used all my warm colors. So that's pretty crazy. We're probably going to see a few more of these colors as I update as well. I believe this square was, the last day was March 21st. So that's how far away, or that's how far behind we are. So if it's the 30th, we've got a few days we need to catch up on. And I also need to sew in some ends for this chunk. I just sat down really quick and just, like the other day, and I just made all of these squares because I was behind on all of them but this one. And so I just sat down and did all of these. And yeah, that's what we're at right now. And hopefully by the end of this video I'll have all these sewn in, and my other goal is to try to get them sewn together. So I have the first row sewn together, but I don't have the second row or the third row sewn together, and I think we're on the fourth row. So I'm hoping that in this video we can at least get some of it, if not all of it, sewn together and put together and all the ends sewn in. And so ideally I would like to have it all pretty much done by the end of the year. So as I go, I want to sew in ends and sew everything together. But at the end of the year, it'll be really easy to just put the panels together. So anyway, there's the update on these. I'm very excited about that. I have blocked these ones, so this is the only one that I still need to block. And we're going to work on some ends. We're going to work on sewing in some ends. So anyway, come along with me as I do that. Okay, so it's Tuesday, April 7th. And this video had to kind of get a little bit postponed because we had a last second market. So if you saw my last video, that's what that was. So this video was supposed to be for last week, and so I've changed it to be this week. I wanted to show you these. I finished the last 2 squares for March. So here's the first one. It's a little weird. The color combos are a little weird because what was happening was the warmer, like pinks and stuff, are a little bit on the warmer side, and then the blues and the greens are cooler. And so it would get really warm, and then it would go cold again, and then it would get warm again. And so here's the other one. And this is obviously a little bit, well, it may not be obvious to you, but it is on the cooler side. Like I said, the purples and the greens and the blues, like this periwinkle, is a little bit colder. Yeah, so that is what the last 2 squares of March look like. So now that we've got the squares done, I really need to work on sewing in the ends and sewing them together, because I still don't even have February sewn together, I think, even part of January. So a lot of these are just loose squares in here. So I have the first row put together, but every other square that I have in here is completely loose. Half of them have ends sewn in and half of them don't. So we're just gonna work away at this right now. I'm gonna give myself the rest of this week to try to get these all the ends sewn in and all of them sewn together, because most of them are blocked at this point, just dry blocked. And so I think for the most part I can get almost all of them together, except for the last 3 squares that I made. So like the last 2 I showed you, and then this one, which is the square before these 2. These ones are not blocked yet, but the rest of them should be. So I should, in theory, be able to put these together. So let's work on that, and I'll show you the update on that. But I'm gonna give myself the rest of the week to do that. So we'll see. Yeah. Say hi, my cutie. I'm so sorry about the background. I have a toddler, as you can see, and it's just always a mess in here. And for some reason, I just cannot clean that corner of my couch. So my house is not aesthetic at all, and I'm sorry. Anyway, if you can just pretend that that wasn't in the background. That way I don't have to waste that entire clip I just did. So it is currently Wednesday, April 8th. Still trying to catch up on all of my temperature cardigan stuff. If you hear things, it's probably just the fire station cleaning their hoses. They can probably hear me talking to myself, but I don't care. I'm currently eating lunch. Look at the size of this grape. Do you see this? This is like my hand for scale. These are huge, and they're like very firm. Anyway, I'm also eating a chicken sandwich. I'm just like obsessed with those chicken sandwiches from Walmart. Anyway, I actually did sew in all my ends. So these are the squares that so far have been blocked that I need to put together. And then this is the little stack of squares that haven't been blocked yet. These are my current ones that I need to put on my blocking thing. I even, if I can find it here. Oh, I even sewed in the ends to this guy. This is the squares that are currently together. And I did actually put these 2 together. I know it's going to be really hard to see because, oh, this is the front, because it's really bright. It is noon. Well, it's like 1 o'clock. And so the sun is so bright. But if I put it back here, I actually messed up a little. I don't think it's going to matter, but I actually should have put this square right here. According to my chart that I made on my iPad, it should be here. And this one should be just the next one. Oh well, I don't think it matters that much. I think in the grand scheme of things, once I have it finished, I probably won't remember, or I might remember, but you can't even tell that it's wrong. I do try, this was the very first 4 days of January, and then as it goes, right? But it is what it is, right? So anyway, we're just gonna continue putting these together and sewing in our ends as we go. I absolutely hate sewing in ends, but if I don't do it now, if I leave them all to the end, then this project will never get done. So that's why I'm trying to be as diligent as possible getting them done. That is the update. I brought all my yarn with me, but it is a lot of yarn, and so I I think I'm gonna go and pull off like a few yards or just like a little bit of yarn of each color so that I can coordinate like whatever yarn color is the outside I'm gonna use to join it. That way it doesn't look weird. I started out joining with the like white color and you can kind of see it, and so I really don't want that as much as possible. I know sometimes you're gonna see it because it might be attached to a square that's not the same color, but I want to at least somewhat have it like blend in. So anyway, that's what I'm probably gonna do, is I'm gonna pull out a little bit of yarn and I'm gonna bring that in so I don't have to bring in every skein that I have. So anyway, there's my stack of squares I need to put together. And yeah, hopefully by the end of this video I'll have them all together. We'll find out, but come on this journey with me. I'm really glad to have this done. All of the squares are done for March. I haven't started the April squares yet, but we are only 8 days in, so hopefully I'll be able to keep up on that. But that's not today's video's problem, that's next month's video's problem. So anyway, there you go. I'm loving how these are looking. Like, look at that stack of squares. They're not in order. That's why I made that little chart on my iPad so that I knew which ones. Although even with it, I put the wrong square together. But anyway, let's keep moving forward with this. So it's Thursday, April 9th, and I apologize if you can hear the construction going on. I don't know what they're doing. They're messing up the road over there. I'm at my lunch break. We're having leftover spaghetti, and I love spaghetti. A fun fact, I was interviewed in kindergarten, and one of the questions was, what is your favorite food? And I said spaghetti, and honestly I don't think that's changed because I love spaghetti. This we made like last week for dinner, and I've had it like, I don't know, a large handful of times this week for dinner and lunch. Anyway, aside from that, I do have an update on my temperature cardigan today. We actually made pretty good strides. So last I talked to you, I had sewn in all my ends. I think I had told you that. But now, look at this. I have this big, I'm not even gonna be able to show it all, hold on. Look at that, this big old chunk put together, and there's no ends anywhere. I have sewn in all of the ends for this entire chunk. I hope you can see that. And I'm really excited. It's looking really good. One thing that you'll have to realize about this project is you have to let go of the color placement, because the weather does not care about that. And so personally for me, like, I probably wouldn't have put so many of the like dark squares together, and there's actually more coming up too. So this is the next few squares, right? And so we've got a lot of purple, like this plum color right next to each other. I personally would not have chosen that. I would have spread it out a little bit, because you've got like a lot of the whites at the beginning, and then a lot of the purples, the dark purples and the dark greens, the olive and the plum. So that's one thing. If you are like really bothered by that, this is probably not the project for you, because it's not your choice what the color is. I mean, I chose the colors at the beginning, but like what colors are next to each other is not your choice. It's the weather. So it's kind of cool because you kind of that part is like taken away from you, and you don't have to worry about that or deal with that, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, this stuff like this could happen where there's like a lot of darker colors next to each other. But anyway, I'm really loving this. This is, if you are new here or you just randomly jumped into this part of the video, this is the back of my cardigan, and I am loving it so far. This one was the very first square of January, and then I'm still working through March, I believe. Like I said, I still have these to finish the next row, and yeah. So that's what I'm currently working on, and we're still blocking these last 3. So yeah, that's where we're at. Hopefully by tomorrow I'll have all the rest of these sewn onto this here. But we'll see. It's definitely slow progress. This has been 3 months of work at this point, and so it's pretty slow. But if you think about it, the fact that this is going to be a year-long project, it's probably good. I am being forced to like pace myself with stuff like this is actually a good thing, because I go really strong right at the beginning because I'm like obsessed with it, and this forced me, because you could only do 1 row, so 1 row per day, right? So this is 4 days, so 1 square is 4 days, so it kind of forces me to slow down a little bit. So it's been fun. It's been really fun, and I am really enjoying how it's looking. And obviously, as you can tell, we've had a lot of 70-degree weather, because that's what this plum is, but we are warming up, so we're gonna start getting more into the pinks. So anyway, we'll catch you tomorrow and see if I managed to put these on the big piece. So we'll see you then. All right, so it's Friday, April 10th. Last day that I can film, just because of my schedule, but I wanted to show you the update. Not much of an update, but I frantically tried on my lunch break to sew together the rest of these. I may have to film like outside extra and kind of show you everything, but we got another row attached. So there's the first row, then we got the second row, that's January, February. And then we've got this third row, which starts the March. And then this fourth row. And then we have, these are the only 2 I was not able to attach because I didn't quite have enough time. And then of course, as you can see, I did leave some ends because I was frantically, like when I say frantic, I was like really trying to frantically do it. Also, for whatever reason, and you saw this before, but like there was a bird that was just like squawking like crazy, and it was just making me so anxious for some reason. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I am in danger or something. I have no idea. Probably also because I haven't actually eaten lunch yet and I've just had coffee. So that could be what it is. I think coffee gives me anxiety. Anyway, so here it is. It's beautiful. Like I am like loving how this is turning out. Like I said, the colors are weird. I probably would spread out the colors a little bit instead of them being like close by, but that's just because of the nature of the temperatures. Temperatures are gonna follow a certain pattern for the most part, and so the colors are just gonna be that way. But despite that, like it's really pretty. It's really pretty, and I'm so excited. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below what you think. I'm really excited to start getting into the warmer temperatures because that'll be interesting. Although I am struggling a little bit because this square is a little bit weird. Like this, like the peachy pink color, which I think this is the Sakura Blossom color, and this blue. I don't think this is going to happen very often because periwinkle is like, oh, there's a butterfly. Periwinkle's like, I don't remember. I'll have to look back or I'll post the picture again. It's colder. And so I feel like the periwinkle next to this color is probably not going to happen very often, but it's a little bit weird. But anyway, tell me what you think of this idea. Would you do it? I know the more popular one is the temperature blanket. So let me know if you would do a temperature cardigan and if you think it's a good idea or if it's really dumb. I don't know. It might be. I have no idea. But this is going to be like a trench coat. This thing is going to be huge. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments below if you did. If you liked it, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!